And with that being said, what up, peeps? How we all doing? Look at this. We got a new guest. We have our first literature themed guest as we're diving into this expansion of literature, which is super, super exciting and super, super awesome. So Jessica, why don't you take it away, introduce yourself, and let the people know who you are?
Oh, hi, everyone, and thank you so much for having me. I am Jessica Bonder. I am an author and an editor. I have 2 books published, if I may. I can share them with you. The most recent one is this one. It's called Broke Witch. It came out in 2022 with 30 West Publishing House. And my first book, which was a chapbook, a little bigger, but see it here. It's called Bell and Light, and this was published by Galileo Press in 2020. And I think I mentioned that I also work as an editor. So Thomas was someone who I came to know through Galileo Press, and maybe we'll get into that. But I work with authors to bring their stories to life.
Like that. I like that little bit at the end. That was good. That was good.
Yeah, it was good, right?
You should be proud of that.
Thank you.
Just as we're getting started, as you guys just heard, fellow writer as well. Do you have any favorites? Have anything that you're reading right now? Obviously, I'm sure your own work must be some of your favorite as well. What are you reading right now?
Oh, well, that's very kind of you to say. Well, what I'm reading right now is a lot of Plath. I'm reading Sylvia Plath's Johnny Panic and the Bible of Dreams. And this is actually a collection of her short stories, her prose, and there's also selections from essays, journalistic essays that she wrote, and diary excerpts. But I'm really interested in this period of her development where she truly, truly wanted to be a short story writer. That was how she started, and that's how I started. And I think, I've been told by editors that my work is poetic, even though I work in the genre of fiction. So I'm interested to see how she made that bridge from those early short stories to her poetry and what that process was like for her. Because I am a diarist myself, I have, I think my diary at this point is about, for the past 3 years, I think is about 2,000 pages. So
Wow.
I'm an obsessive diarist, which is not really known, but that actually inspires most of my work, or the images, the motifs, some of the language that is recorded in the journal resurfaces in my work, as it does for Plath too. So I don't want to make a comparison by any means, but that's what I'm reading right now. I'm interested to see early pieces of work, by authors who I admire, because I like to see how they make those transitions and navigate those losses, because I think part of writing, part of editing, a big part of it is just coming to terms with the truth. That maybe you're not meant to be a novelist, maybe you're meant to be a poet, or vice versa, or maybe someone can be something that they think they can't be, and whatever that hang up is. It's kind of like writing helps get to the truth of that. So that's kind of what I'm interested in right now.
Interesting. Okay, awesome. And just one kind of last thing I want to go over before we start having some fun and getting a bit creative with this is, so I don't know if Baze has said, but I currently myself, I am working on my first ever novel, my first ever book. As I said before we started going here, my wheelhouse is very much theater and drama. I've written plays, one acts. That's kind of what I do and everything, but never touched writing a book, writing a novel. And I'm starting for the first time. I'm a few hundred pages in, and I'm having a lot of fun. And I really don't know anything about the industry. or the process around editing, getting from point A to point B, and I know a lot of these guys don't as well. I was wondering if you could just run us through the process. Say, okay, I've finished writing my book, my novel, whatever, right? What's the next step? Can you take us from the process from point one, finishing a book, to publishing? What does that look like?
Oh gosh. Well, first of all, I am no expert by any means.
Mm,
I'm learning. I'm always learning. It's always two steps forward and one step back. It feels like,
mm,
um, but it's many, many, many stages, many
Yeah.
stages. So just
Yeah.
know that that first draft of your manuscript will not be the one that is read by the public, should it be so lucky to go to press, to go. I mean, you will go through so many metamorphoses in this journey. And you really have to know that I mean, yes, of course, if you're Otessa Mashfa, you're going to have a book out every 2-3, years on just, it's just going to be in the mail, text in the mail. But there are some cases where it might be years that you sit with that work, that you revisit it, that you shove it in a drawer because you hate it. But I would say, really I would say my best piece of advice is be honest with the work and say, all right, if I bring in someone else here, if I bring in an editor, wouldn't that help me? Wouldn't that help my story come to life? And I think you really have to square with that and know that it's going to be a difficult, there might be some difficult passages of letting go of what you thought was your masterpiece. So I would say get an editor, get an editor, work with someone, get someone on your team, and do not go into the forest alone, because you don't have to. Definitely get someone on your team to help you develop the work, rewrite the work, give you feedback, give you structural feedback. There's a lot you need. There's a lot that you need, and you shouldn't have to put that burden on yourself. And the fact is that they won't let you get away with it because they're going to want you. You're going to be expected to throw out a lot of it and rewrite a lot of it. So. That's what I would say. And then don't get it to where get the work to where it needs to be before you even think about submitting it anywhere. Do not rush it out. Do not rush it out the door. And a couple weeks ago, I did this tweet, but I don't know what it's called now. I did this X. I don't know what it's called now. But I said, in the tweet, I said, I was thinking about this, and I thought, well, your work is a guest in your house. Do not rush it out the door.
Love it. Is that from you, or is that an actual quote you found from someone
me.
else?
No, that's me.
Damn, Jessica. Damn. Oh my God, I love it. Say that again. Yeah, it's your prose or your project.
I said, your work is a guest in your house. Do not rush it out the door.
We gotta respond to that. Philly. Oh, my good friend Val is joining us. Thank you. It is beautiful. She said beautiful to that, by the way.
Thank you.
So yes, I agree.
And Bubbles
we see
says
why
we
they
see
call
why
you
they call you poetic. Yep. There you go.
Yeah, we're getting some chat. We're getting some responses here. Oh, what up, Baze? Hey, what up?
What up, Val?
No, Jessica. No, absolutely. I mean, I was lucky to find Jessica through Galileo Press, who I submitted to one of my projects. And for 16 years, I was writing Jessica. And my first novel, I think I told you this before, I had an editor, but the editor never actually did the physical work on it. Gave me like 3 or 4 suggestions, and I did the work on it. And they kind of read it again. And so that first book that I did get published by Atmosphere Press, they didn't have an editor like you, or maybe 90% of the time with other publishing houses, where the editor actually takes the work and physically works on the manuscript. And ironically, that book got a recommended review by Kirkus, which is I feel very proud of, because I was the only one who touched that book. I didn't have an editor for that work. And so here I go through years of writing other projects. And then after a while, I'm like, submitting and submitting. And, I don't know if it's what's going on, but rejection after rejection after rejection after rejection. And then I met you, and you did such wonderful work. And I was so lucky to find you, because like you said, it's almost like a baby, right? This thing that you've nurtured in your mind and your heart, that you actually live with day in, day out, 24/7 for years, maybe, right? And giving it
Absolutely.
over to somebody else, and the trust involved in that. And I was lucky to find someone who I find is I think it's so collaborative. So I think it's important that the editor and the writer, there's a simpatico, like you get the work. And I think you definitely got the work. You made cuts, you made a lot of cuts, but like you said, I think all in the name of unity, architecture, getting to the heart, and kind of the thematic. And that kind of that goes along with some of your background, right, in terms of your background in art or art history. Can you kind of touch on that a little bit? I remember you saying something like that.
Sure, sure. So yes, so I hold a bachelor's in art of arts, is it BA in English and art history from the University of Pennsylvania, and I have been involved in art all of my life. I actually thought I was going to be a visual artist. I was actually considering going to art school instead of going to college. Um, but I think what's important is understanding why a book works, just like we understand in art history why a painting works. And it has to do with the composition. It has to do with the composition. It has to be the way the figures are arranged, the way there's a nod to maybe geometry. And then there has to be an understanding of color theory. And why does red vibrate against green? So I think that same sensibility, it's hard to put into words, but I think the sensibility I have as an artist in the way that I understand composition, line, form, color, I think in some way informs my work as an editor. And I think and just like in art, I see so many parallels between the two. So I hope I can maybe circle back to that. It's something that it comes almost on an intuitive level, but I certainly think my training in the arts really informs my, what I like to think is my skills, my skill as an editor.
Mm. No, definitely. Like I remember the first book that you worked on for me, The Annie Dead, and what you did, and how you shaved it down to, I think, that essence. I guess there's that essence, that consistency. As a writer, I don't know if you can relate to this, but usually I start with a visual. So for me, writing is very visual. It's a very visual thing. I have to see the images. I have to see. And then secondly, as I put it on the page, and it starts with that first line, I think there's a rhythm. For me, rhythm is very important for me as a writer. And it starts with that first line, goes into that first paragraph. And if it continues on to that first page, and sometimes you got to be very sensitive. I'm not talking about writers. I'm even talking about readers. And as a reader, I do pick up on rhythms of language, and that's why I love poetry. That's why I love some of these prose stylists. I don't know, like someone like Cormac McCarthy, for example, who there's definitely some music there, and there is music, and for me as a writer, I think that's really really important. And as I write, because I have to hear it almost inside, kind of, and again, giving, working with another person, hopefully they real, you know what I'm saying? They can help with that, the consistency of that music and the language, and I think you did that beautifully. And Jessica worked on two of my pieces. One was a novel, and another was a novel and verse, which is kind of a hybrid of poetry and prose and kind of mixed together. And with that one, which was, when I share it with my beta readers, and for those of folks who don't know what beta readers means, beta readers are maybe people you give to, like, in your circle, that they see it, they're the first ones reading it and giving you feedback on it. And some folks on that one, which I now am calling Failure Beautiful, by the way, just for now. Um,
Okay.
they, yeah, they're like it's, I think because of the form, because of the hybrid form and how it doesn't go linear, it's not in a linear fashion. They have a tough time grasping the story, especially early on. I'm like, well, you got to stick with it. Stick with it. It will unfold. It will evolve. And I think sometimes some folks, and I'm not attacking anybody. I think there's a, well, after a few pages, they're like, I just don't get it. They maybe give up. As opposed to sticking with something and trusting it and letting it evolve, which is disappointing. But I love the fact that I think you got it and you appreciated it, and that kind of emboldened me to say, okay, there's something here. So yeah, yeah.
Awesome. Baze
Sir, you've
doesn't
been
really
quiet.
talk
How about
about that one that much. I'm as quiet as I need to be. I'm as quiet as I need to be professionally. So
you're just sitting there? Two writers having it out here, and you're just sitting there watching.
it's because
like
I'm
ringside.
I'm the baby. I'm trying to let the pros kind of do this, and I can educate myself. Like I said, I'm writing my first novel. Like I said, it's gonna be, or what it is. I'm a big history buff, so it's a fantasy novel, but has real history. It's like based on real historic events, so it's kind of like Games of Thrones ish, Lord of the Rings ish, but if it was set in the Viking insurgency, 300 to 400 AD in England. And I'm having a lot of fun with it, so I'm just, I'm trying to learn and get in on this. And then, so speaking of these works, right? I'm just talking about my base, talk about his. I'd like to go back to your works. So I think if we just take a moment, I know you've got the two there.
Yeah.
Take a one at a time, kind of maybe give us a brief little synopsis, a brief little blurb. What, and just kind of take it away, like let us know what you want us to know. Brief little blurb. I'd love to know about your experience during the writing process. Were you your own editor? Did you bring on another editor? How was that process? And kind of reflect on it, I guess, for us. I'd love an insight.
Sure. So, would you mind if I showed my books again? Is that too much?
No, please, as much as you
please.
want. Yeah, they want to see it. But Bubbles
Right.
just said, what was the first book you wrote and published?
Oh, the very first book in chronological order. Okay, so the first book that I wrote was this one. You can see it.
Mm-hmm.
Bell and Light. And this was put out by Galileo Press in 2020. It is a chapbook of short fiction, but it does follow a story of an artist named Gene and an unnamed narrator who is his partner of sorts, although their relationship is somewhat challenged. And it kind of tracks through kind of the strangeness of the world that we're in. And I would say that if you like kind of weirdos, people on the fringe, if you like anarchy, if you like pushing against authority, if you question where you are, if you question why things are what they are, and if you just like beautiful, poetic like prose, all rolled into those things, you'll really enjoy it. And the artwork is gorgeous. The book itself is gorgeous. It's very avant-garde. It's certainly not something you're going to come across just in day to day. So it really is one of those artsy pieces that looks super cool in your house
Mm.
because, because it's like, ooh, like who is this edgy, interesting person that has books like this just like lying around, So maybe perhaps that was part of what my thought process was. I like to think of myself as a person like that does cool, edgy things. And so that was my first book. That one, to talk about editing, that truly, so much of that just came straight out of my diary, just
Mm.
straight out, reworked passages from my diary. And it does take kind of the form of a diary, although it's interesting. The short stories are not titled. There are no chapter numbers. The only thing that you get is just the blank bottom of the page and the turn of the page to let you know that you're moving on to the next story. So it kind of, if you think of, I think to use a fancy word, a palimpsest, the idea that there's multiple layers. So the original layer is directly from the diary, and then it goes up and up. A lot of those pieces are stripped away and lost, but yet even at the surface level, you still get those reverberations of what it originally was. Some people have picked up on it. Some readers have commented and, oh, it's a diary. Others have not. Others have just said, oh, it's a collection of short stories. But that, I have to say, that I sent in a very, very, talk about learning curve. I sent that in a very raw state to Galileo Press. It was just truly a blind, just to send it out there, just a slush pile submission. Here it is. Here's this thing that came straight from my heart. No one has seen this. It's very private. It's truly right directly from my heart. Here it is. And the story, if I'm to believe this, which I can only believe that it's true, is that Jennifer Porter, that's her name, who is the fiction editor at Galileo Press, apparently she was reading the slush pile submissions and she emailed Barrett immediately and said, stop everything. You have to read this.
That's awesome.
Yes. So, and Barrett told me, now Jennifer is a tough mom from Detroit. He said, so if Jennifer is telling me that we've got something here, I'm going to stop everything and I'm going to listen. So the fact that it went through someone who lives a tough life or has known how to be strong, and that's really a lot of the content of the book is about that, especially because the narrator identifies as a woman. So that kind of attitude, that kind of grit, I think she found that in the work. And so she was very, very, patient with me to take it on. And it was because of her push, I think, that they decided to accept the work. And she did a great deal of editing on it. But really, I was so accepting of all of her edits. I think they were, see, I'm very different. And I'm always surprised to find this, that there are a lot of writers who balk at every single edit you send them as an editor. No, it's just down the line. Like, that's not what it is. That's not what it is. And I was like, really? Because I accept everything. Like, yes, editor, yes. Like, give me your secret. Like, yes, take this, please. Like, make it better. Take it. I mean, I accepted all of her edits and they were like so surprised. They're like, you're fine with all of this? I'm like, yes, of course I'm fine with all of this. Like, this is so raw. This is so raw right now. Like, this needs shaping. This needs help. But it didn't lose the spirit of it. They didn't lose the spirit of it. So yes, like, was it clarified? Was it restructured some? Was it made more readable, more, just more clear for the reader? Yes. but it didn't lose all of that rawness and all of that, like as I said, that from the heart, from the soul. And I think that's the ultimate goal. And
Right.
the thing is that that's the goal, is that can you hold on to that realness, that heart, that grit, but still produce it in a form that will not be too obscure or too isolating.
Right.
And we need to make that compromise. And that's the difficult, it's like, well, I just want to be artsy and out there and, and eccentric and weird. And you'll have to look through the veil to see what I'm all about, but
Right.
it's truly like, well, but no, wait a minute, hold on. We've got to sell some books here. Like if they are truly, if they don't understand what's even happening, if it's so obscure, then well, that's not going to work either. So there's a way to kind of maintain that mystery and that awe that you felt the first time you wrote it, but still make it palatable for a reader that would pick it up and say, yes, okay, I'm going to stick with this story. So I think that's kind of what Thomas had brought up, moments ago about that readability factor. Like, will the reader commit to this story? What's in it for them? Like, will they stick it out if the passage becomes difficult? And do you get their buy-in? Do you get the buy-in? Are they going to put money on the table and say, okay, you know what? Yes, ring me up. I'm gonna stick with this. So it's a very interesting process for sure.
Right. Speaking of readers, it sounds like you've got another couple coming your way. Val says, "I love Widows and Anarchy," and Bubble says, "That sounds so interesting, right up my alley. I'd love to give it a read sometime." They ask, "Could we have the name of the piece again? Would love to give it a read."
Yes. So the name of the book is Bell and Light. So I feel so cheesy, like just continuing.
No, please, please. And if you send over, you can put in this group chat. If you send over the links to your books, we will absolutely pass them on. So
yes. I do have. The easiest way is that I have my own website. It's my name. It's jessicabonder.com. So just go there. Everything under the sun is on there. There's a cool video on there too. There's links to all of my stories, links to buy the books. That's the fastest, easiest way. Just jessicabonder.com.
Perfect. Yeah. I mean, please send me the link and yeah, go for it. Put it in the link, and we've got our pages and stuff. I'll post them all there. Absolutely. Just send me the link and we'll share it around. Yeah, you do, Bubba. What up, Bamri?
I don't mess around.
He doesn't mess around. He really doesn't. He doesn't mess around.
Cameron.
I know. I edited his work. Remember?
It's true. That's a little scary.
Cameron.
Yeah. I know. I have secrets. I know one.
You do. Cameron 11 says, I edit too. Interesting. What do you edit? Like prose? Or
that's my Bamri. You know Bamri, my South African. He edits videos, film and stuff.
Oh, that's Cam. Oh, Cam. Yeah. Oh, so we'll say.
Which I'm sure is pretty similar at the end of the day. I mean, more or less. I mean, you're collectively putting together, I mean, to relate this to film and to relate this to theater, which obviously is our other avenue. I mean, you've got one whole story, Cam can attest to this, of hours and hours of footage that you've got to concise down into something that, like you said, structurally makes sense and conveys the emotion and the rawness that you're after, which by the way, I loved what you said about that. I mean, congratulations on that first book, and and your second book, I'm sure you're going to talk about in a minute. What an amazing accomplishment! What an amazing comment from that lady that you said who says, stop this and read this right now. I mean, what an incredible comment to have. I'm very jealous.
Oh well, it's just so, like, as I said, when you release something, it's like, I'm sure you're familiar with Annie Nin, who wrote, of course, right, her diaries and Delta Venus and everything that she wrote. So, she would basically start sobbing or crying, like just having to give up. Now, back then it would have been a physical manuscript. but it was traumatic for her, according to, in her own words, to surrender this piece of her heart. And so, I mean, you can call it, being naive or just being brave, or what is that thing? What is that thing inside of us that makes us release something out into the world that feels needs to be, given wings? Like, why do we do that? I don't know what that is, but to just take something so raw and so pure for myself and say, here, and see what you think, and then to just quick run and hide in a shrubbery or something, like, okay, I'm gonna go hide now, like, I'm very terrified now, like, just don't look at me now, oh God, what did I just do, but it's very to have that feedback. I was shocked. I was like, okay, because as I said, I did not have beta readers, I didn't have an editor, I just kind of threw it, didn't know any better, really. So that was, just after I give this big talk, right, about all these, you should get an editor and all of this, but I didn't know that when I was starting.
Right. See, Cam said something that I liked very much. He says, "We are the secret composers." I like that. And Bubbles, but they're all. I think they visited your website just before we move on, just to read chat quick. Val says she loves the cover of Broke Witch. Bubbles thinks that she has already found some of your work before, and may I just say, in all capitals, I will be reading Broke Witch as my next read. Cam's loving the video. XD, what up, buddy? So there you go.
Yay.
Hey, XD.
Thank you so much.
So Jessica, like when you say, like, yeah, I was surprised that, when you said, I didn't argue about any of the edits. I just accepted them, or I don't know if you want to say accepted, but okay, I accepted these edits, and I did the same with you. I was kind of surprised, to be honest with you, that I didn't, and I don't know what that is. That's an interesting thing, because I know writers, and I've heard writers and reading about certain writers that they, like someone like Thomas Wolfe, who wrote books this thick, and when that famous editor, I forgot the guy's name, he edited Hemingway and everybody. When he made any cuts, he would, throw tantrums, and it's like, no, don't cut that. You leave that. I wonder what that's about. That whole process of, it could be very, because I thought it was, between you and I, was very smooth, and it sounded the same thing with you and the other editor, but I know that could be a very precarious, that collaboration. I don't know, sometimes even if it's fruitful and it's worth it, that I don't know, I guess I understand what a writer would fight for. I get that. And also an editor, but God, I don't know if I would enjoy that kind of back and forth and going, taking all this time. And yeah, I get it. For me, I just didn't blink with your edits, with your work. I didn't blink at all. I'm like, yeah, it makes sense. I wonder why other writers, I mean, I understand it, but gosh, it seems that that would be so difficult and combative and, maybe in some level antagonistic. And I don't know. I don't see the point in all that.
Also,
What do you
trust
think
and
about
respect.
that? Or no, that trust and respect. Yes. You mean trust and respect between, is she saying that between the editor and the writer? Or
yeah, that's when that popped up.
Yeah, I mean, of course there's that, but I mean, it goes, I think, yeah, there is that. But yeah, it's a very, not a strange thing, but what are the, like when you did your cuts on my book, both of my books, I mean, you cut, and I didn't, I didn't at all think that this is going to lessen it. In fact, I thought it strengthened it. I thought it, when we talk about architecture, because when people write or ask me, like when you write, why do you write? First off, I write because of the challenge of it, and also piecing together the architecture of something that, like, let's say a longer work, like a novella, a novel. I find that part of it fascinating. is the architecture, the building, the unity of something like that. Um, do you prefer short stories? Do you prefer longer works? When you say you write short stories, I for some odd reason, I'm just not. I enjoy reading, but as a writer, I just don't get into the condensed form of a short story. I don't know why. I always kind of gravitate toward longer works for some reason. Do you have a 50-50? Do you prefer one over the other?
Thomas, it's so interesting that you say you're not a short story writer because I felt that there were certainly excerpts from The Any Dead that could have stood as their own short stories. Now, I didn't
Oh,
tell
interesting.
you that. I didn't tell you that at the time, but I do think you actually, in a sense, are writing short stories because some of those scenes were just, they were bangers, they could just stand on their own.
Damn.
So I think those um, kinds of, again, kind of going back to what I said at the very top, this idea of like, well, what do you think you are in your own mind? What do you think that you are absolutely a novelist? How do you know you're not a short story writer? Or like, how do you declare that? Or what validates or invalidates that? So I think,
Mm,
to say that, I prefer one over the other. I think it's all working towards the same thing. But I've
interesting.
certainly, yeah, so I certainly like the pithiness of like a 500 word short story in and out. I like short chapters. As I said, I feel like my work is, I think I told you this, Thomas, when we first started working together, like I think I'm moving more towards poetry as time goes on. Because I'm
Mm,
kind of just cutting through walls. I really get, I want to just get to that thing, to that which you can't say. I want to get to that. And so sometimes I get impatient with these kind of meandering,
Hmm.
like I can see where the trail is going. And it's like, and I don't like that. I don't know if that's just, I'm more of a fighter. I feel like I want to get in that ring. I want to start hashing it out. And I think to do that with like a flash piece, a short piece, you can get to that heart right away. And I like that. And I like novellas for the same thing because I want to get to that thing right away. And I don't like to be glad handled. I don't like to be babied. And I feel like sometimes I'm taking on this journey that I don't really want to be on. And I want to write books that people are right with me and it's very immediate and very quick. And I think that
mm,
quickness is something, I say something about I know I keep referring, I haven't even spoken about my second book yet, but in Bell and Light, I make a mention that art should be like a punk song. It should be 3 minutes in and out. And I still feel that way. I feel like it should grab you. It should be right there at the throat. And so that's what I'm looking to do with the work that I do. I want to get right to the heart of it, and again, not coddle the reader, not to assume that they have that inner shield, whatever that might be, or maybe they don't. Maybe they're ready to be hurt. I don't know, but it's that idea that you're right there, and I believe that the reader is there and is ready for that.
do you consider your work difficult?
No,
Like, okay, I hate to
I
say
don't.
this.
I don't
I'm not
know.
trying
That's
trying to
me.
no, like let's say common reader. Like let's say we just go to any like Barnes and Noble, and I find like what you and when you cut my work, I thought it was very condensed, very minimalist. When I sent you my manuscript, that's what I thought. That's what I thought I worked on. But then when you even shaved it more, I'm like, God damn, okay. You know what I mean? Even shaved off and you kind of went to the heart of it, right? And I, when you and I talk about publishing and the clusterfuck that is publishing, right? I sometimes think to myself, why am I not getting published? Is it because I'm too difficult of a writer? Is it is my
Mm.
work too? heady to, and these are my thoughts, my inner, right? And uh I believe it's so funny because then I'll see books all around me getting published that are this thick, and I think they're so grossly overwritten. And I just, a lot of that kind of work, uh not that not that it doesn't kind of sustain my interest. It's just, I just find a lot of work very, very, very overwritten. And that's shocking to me because when you talk about your work, and as I reflect about my work, I find it very minimalist. You saw, like the chapters I write are very, very short, very kind of, and that's the work. And I think you could say a lot with just a few words, right? I mean, that's what I'm getting from, I know about your work and I know of your work, and it's very much along those lines. But it's interesting. I hope we get to that talk about, after you talk about Broke Witch, about publishing and the just the reality of what that is. And but anyway, yeah, you don't find your work to be, in some ways, you find it to be, like when you talk about readability. I know you mentioned that, and you mentioned that. What does that mean, and does that have anything to do with, like, this kind of difficulty of content, difficulty of sticking with this narrative? What do you have to say
Yes,
about that?
yes. For me, first of all, I don't think my work is difficult. I want, I this thing that when I first started writing, the stories that I had published, they're very they're very hyperbolic, they're very maximalist, believe it or not. And I remember my father read one of them and he told me, he said, I don't understand what's going on.
Mm,
And so from that point on, I thought to myself, I want to write stories that my father can understand. So that was the turning point for me because I thought,
mm,
what am I doing as a storyteller if someone like my dad can't pick up my book and know what's happening? Who am I trying to impress here? What am I trying to do with
mhm,
language?
Mm.
And since then, I've thought of language as very beautiful but simple tools, like a hammer, like a utensil, like a spoon. Very simple tools, well made, but very simple, minimalist tools, not big pieces of machinery with 50,000 cogs and, 100 greased gears. That's not me. That's not what I'm about. I would like one well made wooden spoon, please.
That's
So
another
that's what I
great
think.
quote you should trademark, like the first one. There's another great quote right there.
Well, that's how I feel.
Mm,
And
I
I don't
agree.
think I don't think there's a I don't think that it's mutually exclusive.
Mm,
That work can't be complex and entertaining and funny, but also be minimalist. I think it can be both because I think the undercurrent, if it's coming from hopefully someone who's skilled, but someone who's telling the truth, I think the truth pulsates through the simplest of words. So I think the more you do this big silly. Now I see, I tend to get angry. I think when I start talking about maximalist works, I get this kind of rage because it's like you're doing this. And again, this is coming from someone who started that way, but then I, saw the light. you know,
mm.
like Lou Reed. I'm beginning to see the light. I had my moment of, here I am. It's all right.
yeah, yeah,
I saw,
yeah.
I had a dream and I saw everything was all right. That was like the line I think in that song. But it's that idea that well, what am I trying to do with a big piece of machinery or some big fancy dance? Like, look what I can do with
Mm,
language. Look at me go. Look at all the big words I
mm,
know. Look
Right.
at this incredible syntax. It's like, well, my dad wouldn't get that syntax, okay? He wouldn't understand that. I like to write for people, for real people, and I don't like to write for institutions. And I
Mm,
think that's an important people coming out of institutions. And I think that's another big part of my identity is that I do not have an MFA. So I am not someone who's coming out of this machinery of its own, if you will. I'm writing as I mean, I have a college degree, which most people don't. But I'm coming from a place of a bit of an outsider. And I think a lot of the books that you see, published, Thomas, I think you see a lot of books that are written by and for insiders, or they're written by insiders for the public, and the public is kind of condescended to. So I get that industry, that churn. And so again, I'm an outsider coming into this world that luckily I've been able to find people that are like me or interested in stories that someone like myself would tell.
So when
That's
you
really
say that, what you just said, I'm sorry, G, go ahead.
I was just gonna say what Bubble said. Bubble said to what you just said that's about your father, which I completely agree with. That's impressive that you took that comment and not to say improved your work, but adjusted it and learned from it. Most importantly, which I mean, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, I guess there's tons of different categories of writers and storytellers, but I guess I think as I'm finding my path, my own way, my own style, my own creativity in this space that I'm kind of emerging into, I think I very much align with that. I mean, at the end of the day, we're storytellers. We're telling a story, and people need to be able to get and understand that story, and that's what first and foremost needs to be a priority, that people get the story. So yeah, I mean, they're clearly loving what you're saying here. And Val just said, Jessica, you have such a beautiful way of articulating complex philosophies and simplifying them. I appreciate how you're making your work friendly or accessible for everyone. Absolutely fantastic.
Well, thank you so much. I'm very, very, very honored. I'm doing my best here. I'm trying.
Well, it's working clearly.
Well, good. So thank you.
Nice job, Val. Nice job, Val.
Yeah, thank you.
It's interesting because when I very much feel like that, and I think there's lately it's been a self-awareness of being an outsider, and does the outsider fit into that middle class? I mean, if most readers and if the publishing houses and that machine aims for that audience or that demographic of the middle class, I'm not speaking for you, I'm only speaking for myself. Where is my place in that? And will my place and my voice ever be heard in that stratosphere that I am so outside of? I do write about homeless. I do write about people, the forgotten. I write about people, the freaks of society, you know what I mean? I'm very comfortable with that.
Yeah, as do I, Thomas. So I think that's the outsiderness and the isolation that comes with that, the alienation that comes with that. I think that's certainly in your work, certainly in a bit in my work too.
Very much so. Did you, and very much, let's segue so we don't forget, very much the center of, I believe, your other book, Broke Witch. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Please.
Sure. So I will slide the book into the screen in a very self-promotional way. So here
That's
it
the way to
is.
do it.
That's it. All right. So don't you love this? I mean, look at this book. Look how little it is. So this was by design. So this is actually, the style of this book is called a pocket book. And the idea was that I wanted it to be a companion that someone could carry with them in their back pocket, maybe on the bus or on the way to work. I really wanted it, and this is, goes into this idea of being alone or alienated. I wanted it to be a friend of sorts, that could be on your person, how books used to be, actually. There were a lot of everyman style type books that used to be published at the pocket size level, with the idea that would be your companion for the road and not your phone. So
I love that. I love that. But before
Yeah.
you go on, I just want to say, you know, I'm learning all about you and all about what you're doing here, and I mean, I love the physicality of your work almost. I didn't really know that that could be a thing, but I mean, all of these decisions that you're making, with, you know, just the book being physically small like that, a pocket book, like your first book, you said there's no chapters, there's no definition between stories, that you're turning the page. I love that. I love that physical choice that amplifies your work so creatively. I mean, yeah, Val said bravo, like bravo, like wow, I'm very inspired by that. I'm sorry, I just had to say, please go on.
No, no, I'm grateful for
Mm,
your praise, and it means a lot to me. I so rarely get to talk about my work, and yes, just one quick comment is yes, book design and aesthetic choices affect your reading
mm,
of the story.
absolutely.
They have they have to. We are physical beings in the physical world, and how we handle objects, how we go about our day with objects. This is all part of our experience. You know, this is on a subconscious level, the way you feel about a book, the weight of it, the touch of it, how the pages look. I mean, all of that matters. The artwork. I'm very, very fortunate, and this is a cool thing about being published with indie publishers like I have been, is that I've been instrumental in designing the books, selecting the artwork. I'm grateful that I have had publishers and editors that were completely open, to my input, to my thoughts. And I was really, I mean, not, you know, again, I don't mean to toot my own horn, but I was really a driving force, you know, on for both of those books, saying, okay, this is what I thought, you know, this is what I have in mind, this is what I think. Especially with Broke Witch, the size of it, I said, you know, I was thinking of it as a little grimoire that, you know, as I said, everyone could carry around with them. So that said, so Broke Witch is a story about a witch named Fern, who is an outsider in her community in New Jersey. And the first thing that makes her an outsider is that she's broke. She has no money. She lives in the poor part of town with within a complex of very unusual, eccentric, quirky characters, that kind of are truly on the fringes, as Fern is. And so the story opens up with Fern's friendship of a little girl named Rose. And Rose, we come to learn, is from a broken family, and Fern, as a witch, befriends her. Out of all of the people in her community, the little girl seems to be the only one who's receptive, to Fern's offer of friendship. So we have a witch who's very much an outsider. And I was, you know, deliberately working with that theme of witches as outsiders that's present throughout all of human history, right? There's always the witch who's the outsider, the ostracized, the weirdo, on the edge of town, the unaccepted, the misunderstood. So Fern represents all of those things. And there comes to be, and I don't know how many spoilers I can give, but there comes to be a gruesome accident that results in a death for which Fern is blamed. Just again, in the traditional style of witch tales, just because she is a witch. And she gets blamed for this accident, which she did not cause, although it's immediately assumed that she is the perpetrator of this, you know, horrific, you know, this event. So the story follows her as she kind of makes her escape, her temporary escape from this hell that she's in. You know, she's coming out of a bad part of town. Now she's got this you know, bird, this albatross around her neck. And we see her leave that part of town and kind of exist for a while in an alternate space as she's trying to kind of figure out what to do next. Is she trying to hide? Is she trying to, you know, kind of reconfigure her relationship with the world? So it's really about Fern's journey and then eventually a homecoming. But we see her journey through this, through this period. And of course, a lot of it was inspired by real life. Although I think throughout the book, I think it's very much a work of fiction. But I think you might get little peeks here and there of my own life in there if you look closely enough.
Awesome. I was actually going to ask about that. So I know you said right at the beginning that you're a big diary writer, and that a lot of your work, the inspiration comes from your own diary. So in that sense, is your work almost, and I mean, I guess this is, a little bit personal, so you don't have to answer this if you don't want to, but is it like almost autobiographical in that way, or is it you kind of just take that approach from the diary writing, and that's the the adaptation?
Oh boy, it's hard. It's where does fiction begin?
Right.
I think is the question.
Mm.
Where does it begin? Um, not again. I am a phil. I very much enjoy philosophy and philosophical thoughts, and I think about this often. Is to which degree do we all fictionalize who we are, and how much of our relationship to the world is that story that we tell ourselves about who we are?
Mm.
And in which ways is that limiting? In which ways is that freeing? When do we call that into question? What points in our life do we realize, what, I don't think I'm that person anymore, or maybe I want my story to track differently than I thought it was going to. So I think that fictionalized part, I think, is always that possibility. So I like to think that if there's excerpts from, my diary that found their way into chapters or found their way into stories, I think they're fictionalized enough to move into that realm of possibility.
Okay.
And they don't, it's not a heavy door clanging shut and, oh, that's reality and that's how it is. And I think that's the delight of fiction, is that it kind of opens up that door to imagine something different. But I think where it can start for me is always a place that's grounded very much in what's real, what's true. And I think just my observations of life around me, serve a lot of fodder for that.
I like that. I like that. And then I have one final question before I guess I hand it over to Baze to have his finishing questions.
I like.
As a new writer myself, as I know a couple of you guys are working on some stuff, what advice do you have for a new writer entering the industry? I know we've spoken a lot about the the importance of kind of letting go and like welcoming people onto your team to help fight for you, like with an editor and everything. Other than that, what advice do you have for new writers?
Write every day. Write every day. Read every day. Just keep yourself engaged in some way. I don't care if it's something you write on a napkin at a cafe. Just be engaged in some way with words. I'm certainly not saying you have to produce, and I actually am kind of an there's a such phrase, such word term as an anti-productivist or anti-productivity, because I'm very anti-capitalist, and that's a very capitalist point of view, and that's kind of shoved down our throats as artists, as writers, and it's like, well, F
What up,
you,
Pablo?
because I'm not in the corner suite here, and I actually kind of hate you. So again, I got this, I've got this rage in me, that burning in me. And I think to just always reconnect with that, because really this world wants to snuff that out. It really does. And I think you have to every single day recommit in some way to that fire within you. So, for me, it is reading every day, but it's certainly reading plenty, certainly writing plenty. And just keep telling your truth, and it will find readers. It will. I believe that. I mean, I don't think that's magical thinking. I really do believe that there are fellow souls out there And, I do believe in witchcraft. I'm not a practicing witch per se, but I do believe in magic. I do believe in ideas like we have souls and they're all kind of interconnected. I do think everything does link up somehow.
Mhm.
So that's my source of faith. I do believe that you just have to keep going, just keep working at it every single day. And it's not a fun message for sure. And it's always there can be some painful moments, but you just got to keep pushing through.
Great advice. Great advice. Thank you for that.
Welcome.
What you got, Baze?
I have to say one thing before I ask my final question, Jessica. This is for Valerie. Val, I'm Batman. That's all I needed to do. I just had to get it off my chest. Thank you for that. What's up, Bob?
God.
What's up, Pablo? She said, "Oh God."
Mm.
Yeah, that's what she gets. Look, it's interesting that you just said that, Miss Bonder, about having that fire and that rage and that belief. And for the first time in my 16, 17 years of writing, these last 3 projects that I've worked on, a 4th that I'm currently working on, I think I hit a wall, and I think I've spoken to you about this, where that belief of mine has been slipping. It's been tarnished, it's been tainted. It's I'm questioning why even do this, because I do write every day. I get up every morning and I write, and I've been doing it even when I don't believe in inspiration. Inspiration doesn't really that whole concept of it is just like a workman, like going to the office or going to a job. I get into my ritual of and habit of living in that world, this artificial world. It does seek truth, but for me it's an artifice, right? It's made up. It bits of me, bits of that, bits of this, all put together in this mosaic. And for the first time I really question it, and I question it because of I mean, look, the first time when I started this, I uh one of my students I taught, her father ran a very powerful lit agency in New York City. And I won't name this person, I won't name the literary agency. And he knew that I was starting out as a writer, and he gave 30 minutes of his time for an introductory, hey, welcome to the world of writing type of talk. And this is what he said to me. And this is something that stuck to me to this day. He says, Tom, imagine that I'm a vacuum cleaner salesman and I want to sell as many vacuum cleaners that I can. Those were the words he spoke to me. This is a guy who runs a very powerful agency, still around, and he's a co-founder, head of it, one of these things. And I go away from that thinking, gosh, man, what does one do with that? What does one want to say with that? It's kind of a distant memory, but how do you navigate through? I mean, you have this strong belief, but as you know, this publishing world, I don't know. It's gotten to me. I'll be honest with you. It's really gotten to me to the point where Gibby and I and this platform, we're seriously talking about the possibility of starting our own press, because I'm just tired of waiting. I'm tired
Yeah.
of my books sitting on a shelf just gathering dust. It just seems like there are gatekeepers that won't let my book through. They don't, for whatever reason, they don't see my truth. They could give a fuck about my truth. And
Right.
that's where it's starting to how do you navigate? What do you say to anybody? You just kind of put your head down and keep on doing it, or how do you navigate through this process?
Well, okay. So here's the thing. I think you have to decide what you want. So define what it is that what it is that you want.
Mm.
Because do you want to be a best-selling author? Is that what you want? Or are you an artist?
Mm.
That's what I think. And I define myself
Okay.
as an artist. I define myself as an artist. and
Mm.
I will die on that hill because I will not take money for me to compromise my art. So I've made that decision. I've made that decision that I don't ever expect to make a living from my writing alone. For me, it's more of a calling where I need to produce these pieces and they need to get to the people who need to read them. But
Mm.
outside of that, do I want to see, my hardcover out at Barnes and Noble, like being, thumbed through by someone who puts it back down? Not really. I mean,
Mm.
but that's me. I mean, maybe I'm crazy, but I think you have to decide what it is that you want. And if you want to go in that direction of like the big publishers and, I think you're going to have to, and I don't mean you, when I say you, Thomas, I don't mean you know,
Right. Right.
but
Right.
from what
No,
I
I
can see,
understand.
from what I can see. So there used to be so my older friends tell me there used to be a term called being a sellout. And
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
there used to be this idea that if you were an artist, stay pure. And if you went corporate, if you took a big contract, same thing for bands, for music. It was like, wow, so you came up on the underground scene and now you get a deal with Atlantic, you're a sellout. You took the
Mm.
money.
Mm.
You took the money, didn't you?
Mhm.
And I think, not to I love Nirvana. So just to talk for a moment, but I
Mhm.
think that you actually see that play out there because
Right.
you
Yeah.
see a poet, right? You see Kurt Cobain, who is a poet, start a band who really truly had no interest ever in money.
Hmm.
And you see him hit
Hmm.
great fame, great success. But that really, from what I can see, from what I've read and what I've learned, it's that he didn't want that. He actually didn't want that, but that's what he got. And so you have to kind of question that. So I think that questioning is a good thing. And I don't think it should be shoved down or pushed away, or like, I don't think a decision is pat and dry. But I think there is certainly a coming to terms with, yeah, it might not be what I thought it was. And that's a tough pill to swallow too.
Mm. My neighbor here is a musician who, played for 30 years. We go out every week and have a drink and hang out. And he knew Kurt Cobain. He opened for them, when they were starting to get big, Soundgarden, that whole, so he knows this world very much. And we have these discussions, and he talks about, Kurt Cobain as struggling mightily with that exposure.
Right.
Um, I guess growing up in a world of Faulkner as artist, Virginia Woolf as artist, Hemingway as artist, Sylvia Plath as artist,
Right.
they've reached a kind of level. And I guess now, is it possible for an artist to reach that kind of status, like a literary artist such as yourself or myself? I consider myself the same thing, very much a calling, but maybe after years of doing this, it's like can the artist reach a wide audience, not selling out but being true to your art, being very true to your art, just like the books I grew up with. Maybe it's playing a trick on my mind. Maybe that world no longer exists. Maybe it's a romantic idealism that has lived in me, and I've kind of now seeing like, whoa, maybe that's just black and white. If you're this, you're this, and this is where you exist. And if you go, and I've read many tweets and hundreds of blogs and hundreds of Reddits about this very thing that you and I are talking. We're talking about on this forum that people are listening into. And it's like, no, I couldn't write any other way. I couldn't tell any other stories that I could. There's just no way. I can't. A couple of friends said, "Why don't you write this kind of book?" I can't write that kind of book. Sorry, can't do it.
We all get that. We've all gotten that. We've all gotten that. Why don't you just write something that sells?
Right. And but then again, I would think like, like your work, like Broke Witch. Why couldn't it sell 500,000 copies? I loved it. I thought it was very readable, very interesting, very imaginative. I love the world you created. I hate to say this, and I'm not trying to downgrade, but the thing that you talked about, the simplicity of things, the tools, I very much saw that in evidence with that work. So I'm asking, in a very ideological way, why can't that hit, at that level where I think, why shouldn't it? Why couldn't it? And there's a level of artistry to it and all that. And just like my work, the day, I'm thinking to myself, especially with your work on it and seeing it, why couldn't it sell? I think it's interesting like that. If I can bring myself to read a lot of these so-called, I mean, is it really that? I guess it is. I mean, I don't want to downgrade, but I mean, is it crap that sell? Is that what it is? 99% crap and 5.05% if you're lucky and win the lottery. You have to win the Booker or the Pulitzer to get kind of the spotlight. I just, you know what I mean? So that's where I'm at as a writer. It's like, yeah, I have a calling, but what the fuck is going on, kind of thing. And we don't have to belabor the point. It's just something that I would love, I love talking to you about in this forum. This is very much the life I've lived for years. It's very much I've committed to. Why do I write? Honestly, I want to leave behind a chronicle. That's one of the goals of why I write. I want to leave behind some kind of chronicle of my existence here on this planet, as a human being, that this is what I have to say about the human condition. And yeah, it takes like that discipline every day to chip away, to get up, chip when sometimes your body and your mind saying, screaming, no, dude, no, fuck no, don't get up out of bed. You know that feeling, right?
Oh, for sure.
So it's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, yeah, it's just it's interesting to me. Like it's like what is it luck? Is it connections? Is it living in New York City or Brooklyn, Park Slope? Is it like what is it? You have to be in a I remember my first publisher saying, "Yeah, dude, if you want to get published, you got to go live in New York." And I'm like, "What?" You know?
If you
Maybe
want to
that's the
get
secret. I don't know.
published and appreciated, you've got to die. That's what
You
me
got to
and
what
Baze
die? You
always.
said.
That's what we always talk about. You'll be appreciated once
Mm,
you've passed on, Baze. Don't worry. Your
great.
artistic genius. The period of human history is to come. Bubbles asks one final question. And asks, do you guys deal with a lot of imposter syndrome in that world? And in that world, and if so, how do you deal with it?
That's a great question.
I don't. Um, I don't know if I'm just stubborn or what it is, but I've seen behind the curtain and I know what the Wizard of Oz looks like. He's just a little old man in a suit, conducting, projecting this, really overwhelming, hologram to make him seem more fearful, more powerful. So I know that the people pulling, and this is, again, like I get that rage in me, but no one knows what they're doing. No one has the answer. And I don't think anyone in a position of power knows any better or has any more over authority than I have over my own work. So I feel I don't doubt myself in that way. And I mean, imposter syndrome, I understand to be that you think that you're somehow not qualified to do what you're doing, that you somehow got lucky or you snuck your way in and you don't really deserve to be there. I deserve to be where I am. And anyone who's written something deserves to write what they wrote. So again, that's just me. That's the warrior in me. It's certainly a strength I've had to build up, but as of today, it's not something that I don't feel like I'm not worthy of being where I am.
Good.
That's the poet warrior in you, Miss Bonder. The poet.
That's
warrior
what I'm
in you.
getting. Everything that you're saying is just so aligned with Poet Warriors and our core beliefs.
I'm so
Yeah, perfect guest. Perfect guest.
Oh, I'm so glad.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to be.
We.
Thomas, wait, one more thing. I think, I don't know,
Oh no.
Thomas, I don't know if I was telling you this or maybe not. Maybe I was saying to somewhere, you're saying this to somewhere else, but that's this idea of being a warrior of the heart,
Mhm.
that there's ways to be warriors. And that's, for me, I've always thought of myself as a warrior of the heart.
That's what we do.
I love it.
Jessica, we do this even though Gibby has very short arms. We're still warriors of the heart. We're
What?
still there. There they are. Look at
Got
those
very
short
short
arms.
Are they?
We had
Wait,
it.
where are my
Yeah.
arms? Oh, see?
You see, they're
Oh,
long.
wow.
You have long arms. Yes,
I
he
do.
has
Wait,
very
what's
short arms.
happening?
What are these?
Yeah.
Why am I evaluating
His
my
arms are
arms
like
right
this.
now?
Look, you see,
Wait,
look,
let's do
mine too,
arm.
Jessica.
I'm
Let's
not
do
bringing
arm
mine back up. I'm
exercises.
scared. I'm scared.
Is if you look closely, they're like this. You see? Look, it just yeah. You have.
I don't
You
know
have
what to say.
perfectly.
What do I say to something like
have
that? I'm
T-Rex.
sorry.
That's what Val says. T-Rex.
Oh Lord.
One of the fiercest predators on the planet, bitch.
Oh yes. Well,
Oh.
yes. Yes.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
Let's not forget
Miss
that.
Bonder. We don't want to take any more of your valuable time. It's been a pleasure, an absolute pleasure having you on. Of course, this
really
will be
has.
posted tomorrow for the whole world to see. And you are a terrific human being, writer, and guest. And we're so happy to have had you on today.
Thank you so
Absolutely.
much.
Thank you.
I would like
Thank
to
you.
personally thank you as well, because you've really opened my eyes to, you know, the industry that, you know, I really just don't know that much about. All the information I get is from Baze, and a lot of what you said was very thought provoking, and has you know, my mind. I know it was a little bit quiet at the end there, but that's my mind was going. You definitely inspired me a lot, and my brain was cooking. My brain was cooking. And chat saying, Bubbles said, well, great answer, love that response, you definitely deserve it, and might I say, I think the literature world deserves you more right now. Bravo, so glad I didn't miss today, thank you for coming, loved listening, all of you are very inspiring, even you, Gib, thank you. So they loved it, I loved it, thank you very, very much, very much. And please,
You're so welcome.
send me or Baze, or in this chat, send the link again to your website, and we'll push it out. We'll push it out.
Okay. Oh, well, I love it. Thank you. Thank you so much. It was truly so much fun. I really enjoyed it. It was a real big honor for me. So thank you so much. And thank you. Thank you, everybody.
I'm glad. Thank you. Thank
Okay,
you.
Jess.
Welcome. You're
Take
welcome.
care.
Okay, bye.
Take care. See you soon. Talk to you soon.
You got it. Now I have to figure out how to exit out.
It's okay. We have the thing. It's just that.
Okay.
And it's what is the red button, right? See ya.
Okay,
That's
bye.
awesome. Bye. Take care.
Am I out?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. But this is great comic gold, though. Let me tell you. This is wonderful. You don't have to leave. Gee, help her out. You're the tech. You're the Oz.
It's just the red button. It's just the red button. Or I can personally disconnect you from the call if you would like.
Yes, because I'm not familiar with this format, so you can just piece me out.
Okay, I will piece you
But
out.
Jessica,
Thank you.
he won't be able to reach it because of his short arms, Jessica.
Oh Lord. Oh Lord. Well,
He's
thank
very
you.
rude. This man is very rude. All right. One final wave. I see Baze's little limp fish wave. Thank you very much, Jessica.
Thank you. You're welcome. Bye.
That's for you, Jessica.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
There we go. There we go. Everyone's waving forever. We like to wave forever. Even Baze with his limp fish.
Classic. Everyone is waving forever. I'm Batman. Every time I try to joke in that thing, you guys were so fucking serious. Oh well, Jessica's gone. I'm out. Bye, Val. Don't you dare.
We didn't want you here anyway.
It's it. No. We do what
We
I do want Val
we do.
in the
We do.
I don't know why Baze is talking like built like a goldfish. What the fuck?
Built like a goldfish.
Dude, why? You were so serious during that shit. I hated you, dude. I fucking hated your guts. You're like, oh, so anyway, let me talk about my 492-page novel. Fuck, dude. Listen, T-Rex, don't make me come to Italy. Damn.
I'll make you come
Val
to Italy.
talking shit.
Oh, Val can come to Italy. You come to Italy, Val.
Please, God, no.
You come.
Please,
see the
God,
heart made
no,
the
dude.
heart. She posted a heart. The heart made it all better. Problem solved.
Let me just say something about Val. Remember when Miss Bonder was talking about weirdos? Val. I'm
That's
buying
okay.
a plane ticket right now.
Aren't we all weirdos and cretins and anarchy
Cretins.
and anarchy?
Cretins. Keep on posting it, Val, because no one else
That's
is.
how you Americans say it.
What? Cretins?
Cretins.
Oh, bubble. Dude, every time I joked around, you were like this. Chirp. Chirp, chirp. Like, dude, like...
You know
talk
what it
about
was?
throwing
You know
someone
what it
under-
was? It's because when the lovely Jessica was speaking, I was very intently paying attention because what she was saying was pure gold. I love her, by the way. Great. Whenever you spoke, dude, I was almost fell asleep. I won't lie. I was struggling to stay awake
You're
with
a
all your
jerk.
bullshit.
You're a jerk. That's what they call people. Jerks. A cretin. Or crouton, as you say. Hello, you crouton. No, it's cretin, dude.
Croutons. Who doesn't love a good crouton, dude?
I hate croutons. I fucking hate them. Like when I get a Caesar salad, if they put croutons and I say, excuse me, no croutons, please.
What have you got against
waiter looks at me like,
croutons?
I like wearing alpaca. Does that matter?
What have you got against the croutons? What's wrong with croutons?
They're crunchy and they get in the way.
Do you like bread?
And
do you eat toast?
Kind of like. Hold on. They're crunchy and they get in the way, just like Val.
Damn.
I'm Batman.
Val, come to Italy. I'll protect you. You look like an alpaca type of kind. I don't know if that's a compliment or a fucking diss. Jessica's riveting. Baze is a crouton hating waiter. Why are you sucking a spoon?
A waiter?
Why are you sucking a spoon? What did she say? She said...
There's another thing I wanted to do. Oh, fuck.
I'm answering your question. She said Baze is a crouton hating weirdo.
Did she call me a weirdo?
Yeah.
I didn't want to be rude to our guests, but I was so hungry. Did you hear my stomach growling during this whole thing? Yes. Yes. Wait, yes to my stomach growling, or yes to Baze as a crouton hating weirdo?
Both?
You'll put both. Watch.
Are you eating chocolate pudding right now?
Yeah, man. Yes, to both. Of course it is.
Did you bring enough for the Poet Warriors?
Let me say something, dude. I don't know, dude. Were you an alien? Were you abducted by a fucking alien, dude? You're like, oh, hello, Jessica. Welcome to our literary saloon. Yeah, where we talk about all things literature. Literature. Yeah, I'm against like all boo hoo. Baze is talking truth.
Come on. Closer, motherfucker. Closer. Who the fuck told you I was an alien?
With great power
Dude, shut the
comes great
fuck up.
responsibility.
There you go. Batman and the Alien every single Sunday.
I do want to say Jessica is wonderful. You see what I mean, dude?
Dude, she's
You're
great.
welcome.
She's great.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
She's great. She was actually very, very, like, all joking, she was brilliant. She was brilliant. And I wasn't lying. Inspired me more ways than one. Dude, how fucking cool. I mean, yeah, I'm sure you already knew, but she opened my eyes to that physical aspect of writing a book. I didn't even think about that. Like, that kind of blew my mind in a very unexpected way, dude. And that's those ideas that I was talking about. That's what was coming to mind. The physical aspect of reading a book. I never even thought about. How brilliant! Like, that was seriously creatively impressive. My goodness.
Well, I think what she's talking about is there's a tactile
Absolutely.
response to. That's why when people are talking about Kindles and reading online, I just don't have that connection, because for me, and if you get to, like, when we're talking about a writer with clout, you have a say. Look, when you open a book and there's the type of paper it's printed on, the cover design, just the aesthetics of it.
I'm sorry. Pablo, just read Pablo's comment.
Here I am talking about something important there. Dude, you're listening to fucking, like Jessica Bonder on Pins and Needles. And then when I, as a physical student to pick a pencil, right? Dude, I
Tell
do
me
write.
that wouldn't
I do write
distract
into
you. Tell me that wouldn't distract you. No, God, you were waxing poetic. Please continue. I was listening. It's just I've got a lot of screens.
You all a bunch of bitches. You all a bunch of bitches.
More of waxing poetic. See, more of waxing poetic. I'm so good, Pablo. You're so good. He's done. Can't diss someone and use the wrong right. What? What does that mean? What does that mean, Bubbles? No, she was brilliant. She was brilliant. She was very, very cool. I would actually, I don't think that an hour was long enough. I think we need to get her on again. And
dude, it was an hour and a half we went. What are you talking about?
We haven't even been streaming an hour and a half yet.
Yes, we have.
We've been streaming 1 hour and 20 minutes.
Okay, 1 hour and 15. Are you happy?
She's been gone for 15.
You happy? Just noticed that. Thanks, Bubs. Have I antagonized our whole fan base, dude?
Dude, you scare them away. You scare them away with your grumbling stomach.
You could have her back to do a reading of her work. Doesn't that have to be all about bass? What a jerk. That's a jerk for you.
Maybe it's because of your goldfish build and your lack of physical strength.
That was actually funny. I'm laughing inside. It's going to the outside.
Don't worry, we're all laughing at you.
Oh, no, yeah, sure you are. Sure you are, G.
Slurp away. Arouse everyone in chat, please.
I am slurping away.
So,
I'm eating away too. What? So,
one of us has to be business centric. One of us has to be a very important businessman, because we know it's not the goldfish over here. How about y'all read fanfic work on next pod? I'll draft something up. Do it, Bubbles. Do it. Are you okay with sensual texts between the two of you? Yes, please. You're gonna write fanfic of us? Is that what you're saying? Do it. Do it, Bubbles.
Do it. Do it.
Let's talk PWP. Yeah. Let's talk PWP.
I don't like that. I don't like PWP. I don't like the name for that. It has to be
You
something
came up
different.
with PWP. That was your idea.
I did not.
I like that was your idea. I like PWP.
Ubu Press.
Ubu?
Yeah, I'm gonna put it in the chat so you can look at it because that's
I don't know.
you
It's
get off supposedly on-
it's got to have Poet Warrior in it. It's got to be established with what we're doing. Yeah, yeah.
Look what I no.
This is gold.
what I
Wrong
write.
answers only. Do it. Ubu Press.
No,
Ubu Press
Yeah.
subsidiary.
no, subsidiary of Poet Warriors. It doesn't have to be Poet Warriors. That's a weak ass name for a press, dude. Ubu, dude. Ubu.
I don't think it's weak.
Ubu. The spirit of
Dude, if we do Ubu, I've got to make an entirely new website. I ain't doing that.
No, you don't.
We can't have a page. Uwu Press. Pete, done. Uwu Press. Done. Let's go. Dude, we can't have. You don't even want to know. You don't even want to know.
What's it? I do.
It's like an Asian cute girly porny thing. Uwu?
I don't want to know.
Yeah,
I don't want to.
yeah,
I
you don't want to know.
Mm-mm.
I've never been to Ubu Java.
Hey,
If we can't have a Ubu Press as a one page on our Poet Warrior website, that won't work. If it's Ubu Press, that needs its own website.
That sounds like it's you're following the yellow brick road, and it should be it's a theme of you being Oz and the screens and all that. It's right up your alley.
I have quite a few screens, but if we were going to go Ubu Press, I would need another screen that's out of my little arm reach.
Oh shit.
How about we make money first? I can get an arm extension plastic surgery and then we can go Ubu Press. How about that?
Dude, I'm so sick and fucking tired of your physical limitations. I'm so fucking sick and tired of your physical limitations.
Dude, that's fucking like ableist. You can't say that shit. I could sue your ass.
Val, are you still here on chat? If you are,
arm extension.
let me know.
I'm gonna copy and paste the definition of ooh. I would be interested to see what the definition of ooh is. Please copy and paste. Old people trying to still figure out a phone. I'm here causing trouble. Someone clip Bays being ableist, please. Clip Bays being ableist, because that's ableist.
That's right. That's fucked up, Pablo.
Well, anyway, I guess working title of Ubu Press, we'll see. But let's talk about it.
Here, ready? Let me talk about it. Ready? Here we go. Oh no, that's fucked up, G. That's fucked up what you just did.
What I just did?
You can't throw away Ubu Press. Let me explain.
This isn't Ubu Press.
What is that?
It was my sticky note of the questions to ask Jessica.
And you're gonna eat it. Don't be rude. It's very rude what you did.
Do you think my arms are long enough to put it in a bin? You made that abundantly clear.
No.
Abundantly.
I don't. Sit, Ubu, sit. Ubu is the spirit, dude, of all the shit that we were talking about.
I'm gonna get a drink to get me through the rest of this. Do it. Keep going.
Right? That's all the shit we talked about being a fucking warrior, a poet warrior, about being irreverent, being about fucking an outsider, about like fighting and the belief. That's what Ubu represents. You wouldn't know. No one knows because they don't fucking.
Why did you stop? What stops you? What are you looking at right now?
I was gonna accuse people of being
Like
Philistines, dude.
sipping that glass bottle.
All
You
of you
keep
guys
sipping that glass bottle, dude. I mean, it doesn't have to be, but I like PWP. I liked PWP. That was your idea. It doesn't have to be PWP, but I think it needs to be Poet Warrior centric.
I hate the fact that you're so different the last 10 minutes and the first 1 hour and 15 minutes you're like this. Ready? Look, let me sit up straight like I have a fucking rod up my ass. Hello, Jessica. Well, where's a pipe? Where's a pipe? Pretend this is a pipe. Hello, Jessica. Yes, of course. I have questions here.
I left because I wasn't gonna take this slander.
Oh, I thought you hung up and I thought, dude, you can't do that. People think then the fucking podcast is though you can't fuck with people like that.
They
Like
know. I'm just. It's just gonna fuck with you. Now I know what your weakness is, bitch.
You know what my weakness is? I'm gonna tell you.
Please, before I read this, what's your weakness?
Oh, go ahead, read it.
Ubu sounds like a hip Asian fusion restaurant that charges $80 for a crispy tuna rice. Maybe Bubbles. Maybe it might be a hip fusion restaurant, but you best believe you can go in the back for a happy ending at Ubu Press.
That's the funniest thing you said in fucking. Finally, my God, you finally said something funny. Jesus Christ, congratulations. Jesus fucking Christ. Good job, buddy. It's in you.
Let's take let's take this away from the name. Okay? I'm gonna be right back.
Stop and read what Bubbles just wrote. Read it out loud, so because you read all the other stuff, read what you just wrote.
Val said, ha ha ha, yes. Bubbles said, more I hear it, more I like it though, to be honest. Well, it's a good thing that Bubbles isn't a 51% partner in this business. Why don't you, I'll be right back, why don't you explain to people what Ubu Press even is? Explain to people what this is. And hey, I don't know if you can read this because it's backwards, but it's got Stitch and it says, let's get weird. So how about I walk away, I show my booty in my tie-dye trousers. Let's get weird. Tell them what PWP is, boss man.
Guys, now that we got rid of him, we can let our hair down and just have some fun. Throw some fucking lines at me on chat. Business up top, party below. Now it's good old Philly V. What up? What up, Kenzo? It should be called Kenzo. Kenzo, you could join us one day on the chat, but goddamn, please. Yeah, peace out. Yeah, few. That's right. You could join us on a podcast. Like, but my God, don't be uptight like you were last time. I beg you. I'm begging you. Kenzo, yeah, you could have. I'm Batman. Ladies and gentlemen, PWP was supposed to be Poet Warriors Press. We're expanding, but it's going slow because it's all Gibby's fault. We could have been in but no shit. I think we said this last time, and I'm not fucking around. Our platform and our website combined, our videos, everything we post every day. We have this thing on Sundays. We've reached every single continent except for Antarctica. We've reached every single continent except for Antarctica. Press is going to be next. We're going to tackle the publishing world. We're going to tackle the film world. We're going to even tackle the porn.
Did I hear Antarctica?
I said we haven't done that, but you and I are going to do like some kind of filmic journey up there where we capture, the struggles, the highs, the lows. I don't know if my only my only my only thing is, are we able to build a fire if you have such short arms?
Short arms is a
Will they be able
blessing.
to?
Short arms is a blessing because I can get nice up and close and nurture that on Antarctic fire, which we need. K Swizzle, we need that. Kayla, we need Antarctica. Poet Warriors is reaching every single corner of the globe but Antarctica. You guys need to go and like our content. You guys need to go and permitted terms for. Thank you, Beat. Thank you. And yes, you did hear porn. He was going after porn. You guys go and like and follow across all platforms for free, and tell your friends and help us get to Antarctica, please. Those icy fuckers. You're right.
Hey, don't be so glib. I see gib, but I say don't be glib. Do you know what glib means? Can you look it up and define it to everyone, just so they know?
Would you like me
that
to? Since you're being
Yeah.
What's the word? Analytically analytically offensive to my name.
You know what, G? Look, everybody in this community, because you're young, probably you have a nice. Well, I don't think. Well, okay. You have a nice personality, dude. I feel like from this community, dude, they gang up on me. I feel maliciously attacked. I think, dude, I've run out
Motherfucker,
of.
who is attacked in this business relationship? Let's reflect for a minute. Let's reflect. Who is attacked here?
What do you mean? What are you saying? I'm a little.
I'm saying
what?
I don't get paid enough for this, motherfucker. All right, you ready for glib?
Yes.
Ready?
You see, Beat says. Hold on. Beat, before you say it, Beat says Baze gets me maliciously engaged, dude. That's awesome. I love it.
He didn't say engaged, he said engorged.
That's even better. That's fucking even better.
Hey, at least one of us is engorged. Okay, ready?
Baze,
Glib.
I come for the engorged, huh? Yeah. Yes, glib, please.
Okay, glib. Adjective. Mm-hmm. Adjective.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Fluent but insincere and shallow. But you know what comes up under similar? You know what comes up under similar?
What?
Slick, neat, silky, smooth talking, and plausible, and you best believe yo ass. I'm slick, plausible, and silky smooth, motherfucker.
When you say your ass, is it yo ass, is in yo ass, or is it your?
It's your, like, apostrophe, like yours all, because I got about as much ass as an Antarctic commune.
But can I ask you like a real question? Forget all this bullshit.
All right,
let's
turn off the camera. Let's turn off the forget the camera. What's go?
No. Let people hear this, dude. Seriously, just talk to me, right? Just talk to me. I'm Toto, your Momo, right? Here we are. Just be honest here in this form at this moment. Where was this guy about fucking 30 minutes ago, dude? Like, where the fuck was this guy?
You put him to sleep. Dude, I was on a real note. Real note. Fuck, get that act out of here. Get the act out of here. On a real note, I was fucking listening very intently there. You know, I mean, you know what I'm trying to do. You know, I'm a new writer. I was really using that in a very real way, and it was very good. It's very good. I got what I needed.
Okay.
I got what I needed. Speaking of, talk to me. Talk to me. I've got a clip here. I've got a clip here, which they definitely need to see, which is on our YouTube, by the way. I'm pretty sure it's this one. I'm gonna show him a clip of Momo and Toto. Is that okay with you? Does that sound fine?
Yes, Val, I'm drinking vodka straight from the bottle. No, it's Topo Chico. It's Mexican mineral water, heavily carbonated, so I burp and fart a lot.
Why does your water have to be Mexican? Don't you live in San Francisco?
Topo Chico, bitch. Topo Chico, top dog. Isn't that what it means? Or top Chico, top dude, top Topo means top. Don't get into the porno. It's not like I'm on top. But if that's
Can you be?
what's necessary, can't wait.
Let's go. All right, shut your bitch ass up. I'm gonna show him a clip of Momo and Toto. Toto, Momo, Toto. I think this is the one. If not, just enjoy a random clip of Momo and Toto.
Oh, I'd rather you not. Hey, ho, hey ho.
Did you hear that?
I'm the guy
that
who
little
just
pop.
left.
Ready?
Oh, ho, 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 ho.
Here, ready?
I am Mala. Wait. What did you just say? Huh? Repeat what you just said. Huh?
It's like when
No,
I
before that.
when I pucker up my
Before,
ass. It
yes.
sounds like this. Ready?
Remind me. For the love of death. You said what he said. Who? The man. What man? The man who just left. Momo, is it really necessary to scream? I wish you wouldn't. They wish you wouldn't. Just talk to me, baby. Okay? Come on, just talk to me.
Tasty.
Tasty indeed. Baze, dude, I told you to shut your ass up. I was playing them a clip of Momo and Toto. All they are in chat right now is, what did he say? Because you were talking about puckering your asshole.
Oh shit! Hold on. Oh, it's not working now. Ah, fuck me.
Please, I would love to. Would love to. Dude, I was showing them a very, very eccentric, very far. I was showing them the talk to me clip. And there you are over the back saying that's what my puckered ass sounds like.
I thought you were not doing it. I thought it was lined up
I
yet.
was showing it.
God damn it.
So now there was your voiceover over us being Momo and Toto saying this is what my puckered ass sounds like.
It made the clip better. Thank you, Bubbles.
There you go.
Dude, guys, hold on. I ruin everything. I'm so fucking sick and tired of this. I ruin everything. I'm a ruiner.
Just talk to me, baby. Talk to me. Talk to me, baby. See, Bubbles said, what the fuck did you just say, Baze, whilst that was going on? Pab wants some sloppy toppy, have it. Top Chico is top tier, though. Baze hit that big, hey, oh, cousin Vinny. He did.
Don't say Vinny around Val. Don't say that word.
Why?
Whatever
Who's
you do,
Vinny?
Be careful. Ready? Hold on. Ladies and gentlemen of this community, that means all of you from the different continents who are tuning in.
Other than Antarctica.
Whatever you do,
fuck Antarctica.
Do not say the word Vinny around Kenzo.
Dude, Nikki will have your ass for banning Vinny.
No, not that Vinny. Another Vinny.
We have twins. Not like, you know, we gave birth to them. We gave birth to a different set of twins. You know, myself and Baze being the co-parents that we are. We have twins that I'm sure you guys will see at some point who will be in some kind of production, dude, because they're classic and we love them. Nikki and Vinny. Identical twins, both actors. Great guys. Pablo said, I can see Baze's big ass stomach hanging out of his shirt.
That's fucked up, Pablo, but it's true.
Fucked up.
Hey, Baze needs to reacquaint himself with the company mission. That's what Beat says. I have to reacquaint myself with the. What is our mission? I can't really recall. What's our mission again?
I don't know, but I think you touched on it when you were talking about making porn.
My dog, do you hear him? He's down here. He's came to say hi. You don't see him. I can show you, but
Show
that'll be
him.
unprofessional.
Show him. Bring that man on stream. Bring that man on stream.
Onyx, hey, look up.
All I see is a hairy
See
back,
that
and
hair?
I can't tell if it's yours or
It's
his.
Oh, that's fucked up too. That's really fucked up. Yeah. Yeah, Val wants to adopt. Oh, here he goes. Here he goes. Hey, Onyx. Onyx. Yeah, there it is. There he is. All right.
He definitely isn't a goldfish.
He's not. Send him to me. Val, look, you send me money, he's yours. Send me money for.
But I could have him for free, right?
Who, you? You want him for free?
I'll have him for free. Can I have him for free? Just to piss off Val?
Do it. God, that would, how could you? She said. Gee, how could you?
I'm a sucker for goldfish. What can I say? I'm coming. See, Val, come to Italy, and it can be both of us. You and I, we can take Onyx. Come to Italy. I give you 2 goat for him. I give you 2 goat. This my sister, number 3 prostitute in all of Kazakhstan. I give 3 goat, please.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Hey, check it out. Guys, it's that time for me. I mean, I don't know what this community expects. This has been 2 hours of. Did you hear that, everybody?
See, he told you can't go, so you can't go. You're not allowed to. You're not allowed to. We haven't even talked about fucking Ubu, bro. We've been pissy-footing around the subject.
Okay, go. You go jump into it right now and stop being distracted. You have a problem with that. Stop being distracted.
For a goldfish, you have great dexterity.
It's my fins, dude. See, look, hey. Look at this shit. Look at that.
Do you reacquaint himself with the company mission as well? Dude, we told you, it's porn! No, okay, so, Ubu, PWP, whatever the fuck it's gonna be called, guys. You guys know that we're expanding into literature right now. We've been doing it for about 2 weeks now, you know, with the snacks. Fucking go check out that content for free every single day on all platforms. Please help us out. It's free. You guys can get us where we want to go. You know where we want to go. HR is now offboarding both of them. Make it happen. Make it happen, please. Let someone take my place so I don't have to deal with this man. I was waiting for that's fucked up, G.
Hold on. No. You know, let me say something about that. What you just said, many women, yeah, down below, bitch.
That's fucked up. Upward bound, down below.
Down below, bitch. Mexicano's fucking with me. And he knows that you know why? You know why, Pablo? You need to go easy on me. It's like I like tacos, motherfucker, okay? I have a weakness for tacos. Your cuisine, motherfucker. Say it in the Borat voice, please. I like you, many women.
Many women.
Dude, many women feel the same as you do, dude. They can't deal with me, dude.
I like how you looked to see if the coast was clear. Can I talk about females? Is Onyx gonna care?
I'm talking about. Yeah. Go, would you go down? Go, just go. That's my.
Great
That's not how I'm
success.
talking to a woman. It's not, great success. Yes, yes. I like you. I like you very much.
I like a
Wow,
sex.
wow.
It's a nice.
Very nice. How much? Great, great, sexy you. Onyx, the feminist warrior. Oh boy,
Because we need more of
guys.
those. I would love to see him in his armor and sword.
Like this.
Let's go on
Ready
it.
for battle. Hey, better kick it. That'll do the job, Baze. Better kick it. That'll do. What is that? Huh? Oh, kick his. What do you call that? Gee, what do you call that thing you're pointing at? Knee? His knee? Pablo? His freaking knee? You guys bring out the best in me. You guys bring out the best in me. Ready to say worst. Get it? Gee, I'm ready to say worst, but then
I'm illiterate.
I say best.
I don't understand.
I
I
tell you what,
refer to
buddy.
them as leg elbows.
I tell you what, buddy. It's time for me to go get some tacos, dude.
No, it's not. You see what this knee is? This knee is
What?
representative of the time to bring out the important businessmen. The time to get serious. Because we got distracted and we didn't talk about fucking PWP. Ubu. Whatever the fuck.
And we're gonna have Jessica back on one day. And at that time, I'm going to pitch to her if she would like to run our small publishing house. We need somebody of her ilk and her how should I say, passion.
Are you talking about the
and
reindeer
belief.
things in the snow?
No. Are we talking about shit again? What does shit again mean?
Oh, she said, are we talking about porn again? I hope so.
Okay, I didn't want to say this, but if we go down that route, that's probably the easiest route for you and I to make a lot of money. But to be honest, that's fantastic. She's terrific. Oh,
no, absolutely. I really
my...
like her. I really like her. I think she's brilliant. Pablo, you need to be nice. You need to stop now. You need to be nice to him. You cut the shit.
Pablo's a bitch. He's like the biggest bitch of them all.
His ego's got the best of him tonight. No, I really liked her. I love Jessica. I think she's brilliant. I know you think fondly of her. I know you think highly. We've talked about it before. She's great.
Very much so.
I wasn't expecting to,
awesome.
In what we've done with other guests and stuff, we found artistically like-minded individuals, if that makes sense. And then when she was speaking, with what she was saying, and Poet Warrior, you know what I mean? Very cool. If we needed someone to run our Ubu, I don't think there's any. I mean, would she be down for that? Is that something that you think she would go for?
I have no idea. Anything's a possibility, especially if it's a real possibility, right? So, I mean, if it's a thing that no one's going to do anything for free, right?
Right.
I mean, it has to have some kind of my financial for everyone. But what does that mean? What does it take? I mean, I've been thinking a lot about that, about a small press, because I don't like playing this waiting game anymore, or whatever game this is.
Right.
It's a lot of time that you put in. We didn't talk about that, but the time you go in that goes into researching these agents and publishers, drafting up all these letters, revising things, sending things out. They're all different. Each one of them want different things. And then you just, most of the time, 90% of the time, you don't hear anything back. No, thank you.
Right.
Hey, thanks for trying. You don't even hear that. They're saying like, oh, if you don't hear back from us within 2 or 3 months, consider it a pass. But that's just rude, dude, because the writer is taking the
Yeah.
time to research, find,
Yeah.
right?
I've been thinking about that a lot recently. I don't know, that kind of stuck with me. I mean, obviously I don't have any experience dealing with publishing houses and stuff. I know you do, and you know that world very well. And I mean, I would like to, and I think for some reason that's the part of me that wants to tackle a small press the most, right? Which we're going to get into in a second. We need to talk about what we're talking about here, right? But and I think that's why I'm so on board with it, because there's some part inside of me, whether it be the artist inside of me. You know, obviously I was raised, in my opinion, just the way that I was raised, being, you know, the appropriate old-timey British gentleman, I guess, or whatever, you know. I consider the men of our household, the men of my family. Other than just giving us a space to do our own stuff, there's like a big part of me that just genuinely wants to make a space, a polite space that at the very least acknowledges the work. You know what I mean by that? Like even if we don't take, and even if we don't take them, right? Say, you know, any Tom, Dick, and Harry, whatever, like fucking comes and sends us something that, like, what we use to establish ourselves and separate ourselves from the industry, you know, redefine our own industry, create our own world, make our own agency, that we acknowledge the work and we make people feel valid in that world, you know. And whether we're like, this might just not work or whatever, we've read the material, we've given them feedback, we've said, hey, exactly what you said, thank you so much for reaching out, thank you so much, you know, like, we've decided not to go with you this time, but, you know, hey, maybe here's a couple of things to work on, thank you so much, we enjoyed reading it, you know. It's just that common human decency from one human to another, from one artist to another. Hey, yeah, we read your stuff, I you know, I thought this of it, thank you so much for reaching out, unfortunately we won't take it this time, but keep trying, you know.
Mm.
Like it's just the I haven't tackled the industry yet, I haven't, you know, tried to publish something out right now, but I know for a fact that if I went the route of what the industry is now, with what you've told me, you know, waiting months and months for to a no end for a probable no, or not even hearing back ever. I don't want to be in that industry. I don't want to live in that world as an artist. I want to live in a world and an artist where I get rejected the right way. And at least I know that even if I'm being rejected, somebody out there is reading my shit and like dealing with it in an appropriate manner that treats me as an artist, you know. I don't know, it's just, it's something I've been thinking about a lot. Like, it's, I think that, you know, I'm not talking about like accepting everyone or anything, you know, obviously we would be a press house or whatever, you know, like, but just treating art as art is, I think, like the first important step. You know, like, even if it's not good, or even if it's not, you know, we don't want to take it, you still acknowledge art coming from an artist. And
Right.
yeah, yeah.
Well, look, I get. Look, I lived 30 years. I mean, I understand what you're saying.
Mhm.
I've lived 30 years as an artist. I mean, if not making money, and if that's what you want to define, you know, you could. Of course, I have, you know, calling, and you know, you get to a place in life where either you could have it in your own hands, the power to do things in your own hands. And that's what I was trying to say about the gatekeepers.
Mhm.
Well, I'm not going to rely, I don't want to rely on them. So, yeah, I could create whatever I want to create, but do I want it to see the light of day? Do I have the control to make, you know, to bring it to the light of day? Sure. If I didn't do this, I could go self publishing on Kindle, Amazon, and
Right.
there it's seeing the light of day, but in a different way. So, that whole concept of being a artist. Oh shit! Are you hearing me? This thing was
Yeah,
off.
yeah, yeah. No, no, no. Yeah, we got you loud and clear.
It's, it's interesting because this thing is off. Now it's on.
We're definitely coming through your mic anyway. You're all good.
Oh, that's funny. Okay. So yeah, man, it's it. I think I don't want to play. I get what she's saying, but I don't. I'm not at that place where I want to wait or
Right, right.
have the gate. That that picture I sent you. I said, "Do you notice anything in this picture?" What I was saying is what I was trying to imply, and this nothing. Don't read it into it. The world of that world is dominated by the feminine, by females
No,
now.
I was
Dominate.
expecting you to respond back, and I was going to say no. It's the dudes. Yeah,
Yeah,
like there
yeah.
was one male there.
Uh, that is a perfect visual representation of the world, and there's
I
nothing wrong
didn't
with it.
know
I'm not
that.
saying as
Mm.
it's absolutely what it is, and so now the whole world of that. I don't know. I want to say business, or it's again at the end of the day, it's like anything else. It's like commerce, and it's interesting that
Right.
Jessica said she's whatever she said about capitalism, this she doesn't believe in that, and I get all that, but I mean, I think does one have to be lucky, have to have connections, or do you take it in the power of your own hands to get to make something happen? So I think maybe what I'm trying to say to you is I don't I don't really. It's not about acknowledging other people in terms of what they're sending us or what we're doing. It's actually putting in our focus and energy into what we have our power to do and doing it and just seeing it through.
Right.
Now, if we want to do one project that you and I are talking about, are we going to see it through? If we're going to do that thing here, are we going to see it through? This thing, are we going to see it through? Just like we're doing this, like this podcast every Sunday, we see it through. We talk about something in 2 weeks, we're going to bring so and so on. We see it through. Now, it could be anything like that. It could be publishing. It could be stage work. It could be fucking a forum. We could go to a festival and have an open forum and say, hey, wouldn't it be
Mm.
great to just have a forum of people joining? It's just about seeing it through and making it happen. And I think that's where my interest lies. Not so much as like I could cry about the publishing industry, the film industry, that, and the only way it makes it happen is through this medium now, because this is the medium that reaches everybody or can reach everybody. And that could be books, film, music, what have you. This, right?
Right.
It could be anything. But this is the medium now that is the largest, most accessible, widespread to every corner of the fucking globe. This is a medium. Not so much film anymore. Not so much. Some people don't have. They might have access to, but if you can't pay for Netflix, you can't see all those movies,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? If you can only afford $3.99 for a basic Wi-Fi and just get on the internet and see our website or see tune into a podcast. But how about if you don't have $15.99 for Netflix or $14.99 for Apple or whatever the fuck? Some people don't. Some
Right.
people can't afford
Right.
$15.
Right. No, I mean, I think we should circle back to that in just 1 second. I think we should circle back to that in 1 second. Val says brings an element of compassion to the industry, which is laden with rejection, which I actually think we can do. And what we're talking about, I want to circle back to what you just said because I think it's applicable with what we're talking about with the summer, which I think we should talk about in a minute. But going to Ubu, PWP, whatever this is going to be, bringing like art back to the art, like bringing compassion to an industry that is ladled with uncompassion. What's the opposite of compassion? Incompassion, uncompassion,
No compassion.
no compassion. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, what we're
Yeah.
talking about is having a subsidiary of Poet Warriors, which will be its own little press house, own little publishing house, where you guys, which will be coming soon, by the way, which will be coming very soon. Like we're already talking about, we have been talking about it, right? You know, if you guys have seen our snacks, if you guys have been on the podcast the past couple of weeks, Poet Warriors on all platforms. Let's go, Kayla. Thank you. And Pablo, thank you guys for your support. It's been there, right? Like this is coming. In the next, you know, week or 2 weeks, it's going to be on our website. Or I guess potentially its own website, where you guys, to start off with, will be able to come and purchase rights to potential plays that Baze has written, books that I've written, plays that I've written, whatever, right? Like we're going to start off with myself and Baze that will hopefully build into something much greater, right? A publishing house with compassion, like Val just said. Val, thank you very much. Enjoy yourself. Have a good night. Keep up that good shit. Dang. We got that good shit with a heart. I'll see you when you get to Italy, Val. Yeah, no, you know, this is coming. This is coming in the like look, guys, when we think about like road mapping, right? As of right now, we're diving into the world of literature. Next up is coming music. But like whilst we're tackling this, I'm working like myself on a couple of avenues for Poet Warriors, right? I'm doing my research, I'm putting in that hard work, I'm putting in that grind. The next two big steps, the next two big enterprises that you guys will be able to be a part of is number one, a publishing house will be coming out of Poet Warriors where you guys will be able to purchase books in PDF format, potentially in real paperback format, playwrights, the works, right? And two is these podcasts, these snacks, these thought bubbles will be coming in an audio file format that you guys will be able to download on your phones, on your smart devices, your tablets, your computers, so that you can download them on your phone and listen to whenever you want. You know, you guys will be able to listen to these podcasts in an audio format, these thought bubbles in an audio format when you're at the gym, when you're on the way to work, in your car, when you're on the train, on the bus, you name it, when you're out for a walk, right? Like, you guys have been here from the start. You guys know what we're after, and we're trying to give you guys that accessibility to this content, which is coming in the next couple of weeks. Baze reminds me of when Mr. Fantastic's hair started turning gray. Dude, Pablo's a bitch. I agree with you. Pablo, what you doing? Pablo woke up this morning, put on his trousers, and he was like, I tasting blood. I choose blood today.
Actually, what happened to Pablo is when he woke up this morning, he lifted up the sheet, he looked down there, and he realized his dick went back inside, not out. It kind of like went like inside.
Poor Pablo.
Not out.
Poor Pablo.
Keep it going, dude. Keep it going. You're gonna keep on saying poor Pablo?
I'm waxing poetic.
Type it in
I'm speaking real shit right now. No, but yeah. PWP, Ubu, Press, or whatever this is going to be called, it's coming, guys. And the accessibility is coming in the coming weeks. So stay tuned. Poet Warriors on all platforms, guys. It's coming. Number two, Number two is what Baze was touching on there, right? About the accessibility of this platform, which is what I was just talking about, right? Like we want to put this content, put these ideals, these thoughts, these feelings into as many people as possible, right? And this platform, this medium seems to be doing that. And that's what we're after, right? Our main goal is to put this access in as many people as possible and spread our truth, right? And so I'd like to talk about this summer and this potential movie, right? And what we're talking about. I see you looking at your watch.
Dude, wrap it up. Wrap it up.
We've got
please.
we've got a lot of lovely people here. We've got a lot of lovely people here that have come to
I
hear
better
us
go get.
talk.
I better go get my charger then.
Is your phone gonna die? Or your laptop gonna die?
No, I better go get my charger then.
Go get your charger. Go get your charger. Let me wax poetic.
You
for
keep
them.
on.
I'll wax poetic for them. You go get your charger. And
Why don't we call the publishing house? Why don't we call the publishing house Poor Pablo Press?
Dang, Pablo. That sounds like an honor. That sounds like an honor, Pablo. What do you think? What do you think, Pablo? No, so look, guys. This is what we're talking about. This is what we're talking about. So, this summer, as we've said before, Poet Warriors has a unique opportunity for a live performance this summer. Poet Warriors has a opportunity to a space. I've been in talks with another performance-centric person who's connected in the industry, who has another company that we may be doing some work with in this live performance. We'll see how that goes. But what we're talking about is myself and Baze are really happy and really surprised, really blown away by what this platform, this medium is doing for us. The reach that we're getting, the views that we're getting, which is thanks to you guys. Once again, Poet Warriors on all platforms. Anything you can think of, we're there. Go check it out. We're posting content every single day. We're wondering about the benefits of this real performance, right? We've done real performances before in the past with another company, and it's hard to get that traction in, right? Hard to get that audience in. Obviously, we're talking about this space is in San Francisco in California. A lot of you guys aren't in California and won't be able to meet us there, right? What you guys are able to see is stuff that we're posting here online all around the world. And we like that accessibility factor of putting our content out. So look, yeah, like I said, we've got talks with this guy. We don't know if it's going to happen yet. We're very early days with this collaboration. It may work, it may not work. If it works, we'll probably do it because I think it can benefit both of our companies. If it doesn't, myself and Baze are talking about making a different kind of content, which we've talked about here before, this summer. So instead of the Poet Warriors having a live performance in San Francisco, Baze would travel here to me, and we would spend the summer, the summer filming and creating virtual content for you guys, like we have been. That would be myself and him together physically, and also potentially a few short films, which when we talk about short films, we've got a lot of ideas. There's a lot going there, and would be uploaded and be accessible to you all. So when we talk about a physical live performance, a lot of you guys won't be able to see that because a lot of you guys won't be able to be there, right? But if we did this short film content, if we made this physical virtual content, all of you guys will be able to see that and support it, and we'll be able to send that out to festivals without us having to be physically represented. Baze has come back. What, dude? Pablo's being so mean to you today. What's up with that? What did you do to him?
Dude, what I said was we're gonna name our press after Poor Pablo. I mean, isn't that a great name of a press? Poor Pablo Press. But since he's being like a you know, ah, yeah, baby.
I was telling them
Keep it
about
going.
the decision. I was talking to them about the accessibility of everyone here, all these lovely people being able to watch content that we create physically over the summer, as opposed to, you know, we've got a couple, two or three, four maybe people in chat out there in California that would be able to come and see, and a lot of them wouldn't be able to. I was just talking to them about the film.
Right. Right. I mean, it's all about accessibility. That's all it is. That's the whole thing. If you, based on our conversations about, you know, like look at the latest book capsule review. Like in 7 hours, you get, and they could be watching in Germany and Saudi Arabia and in
Right.
Florida. You know, so you have um, a lot of reach. So that's all. It's just simple as that. I mean, I think old models are becoming obsolete. I really think theater is becoming obsolete, to be honest with you. I think that's a medium that's going out, and some people say, "Oh, you can't replace live," but I don't know, man. I mean, it's the amount of work you got to. It's just like efficiency, right? When it comes down to it, it's like it's efficiency. Do you want to put your work and time and energy towards something that's efficient, and you could reach a wide audience doing 5 minutes of work, or do you want to put in 15 hours and reach a smaller audience of, I don't know, 20 people? That's, to me, that doesn't make sense. So based on just real models of what I'm seeing and taking place lately, I don't know. I like to go the efficient route. I like to go the route that reaches the widest possible audience with the least amount of work. And when I say work, yeah, film is a totally different. It's just like you and I, if we were to do a quick snack, like 2 minutes, that's all it takes. Boom, done. If it take like a short little funny skit or any kind of skit, boom, 1 minute and 30 seconds, done. Sure, there might be editing involved and stuff like that, opposed to a production, 2 weeks, 2 months, 1.5 months of rehearsal, learning all those things. Right? With film, we say, hey, today we're shooting this scene. We're going to plan this. There's 8 lines of dialogue. This is how we're going to do it. We could spend either 8 hours on it or 8 minutes on it. If we get what we want in 8 minutes, why spend 8 hours?
Right.
If you need to spend 8 hours, spend 8 hours. So, if we have our own limitations, I think with this also, it gets rid of some type of like perceived limitations of money, of resources. Well, our resources right now is just you and I, right?
Yeah.
And then our once it goes beyond that, it goes beyond that. Sometimes when you get bigger can be a little bit more convoluted, chaotic, dangerous. It just gets a lot like how much bigger? What does that mean, bigger? Um, Working with even one other person, like we bring in one other person, then our net widens, and then that means, well, this is a person who has certain feelings, energies, this, that. We have to get kind of know how to coexist with that person
Right.
in a very collaborative way. So yeah, I'm not saying like it's just going to be you and I, if, forever. No, but I think right now it is you and I.
Right.
And once we kind of like really, I like that. I like that efficiency, uh, widest possible audience, and ease. I like ease because you and I have other things in life. And if it's, hey, we could do this thing in 2 weeks or 2 days or 2 minutes or 2 hours, as opposed to 20, as opposed like this thing that I'm doing at this project that I've been talking about that's been killing me. Imagine the hours I've put into this thing.
Yeah.
The hours, the brain energy, the juggling of 500 things, man. And at the end of the day, I'm like, how about if I were to put in a fraction of that toward what you and I doing over here, and we get it done, and 5,000 people see it. But my whole worldview, my whole idea of what I've been doing over here is like, oh God, I mean, I'm beginning to really dislike that because of why it's not necessary anymore. Not with the tools. Jessica talked about tools. Not with the tools at our disposal. Like 2, 3 months ago, I didn't know the reality of this. Then when we start boom, bop, posting this, doing that, all of a sudden things then become like, oh shit, huh, right? You sit down, you reflect, and it's like, oh, this is possible. I didn't know it was possible like this, even.
Mm.
Shoot, how about if we tried this? Would this over here be possible? So I think it's learning. It's like if you're going to be a lifelong learner, be a lifelong learner. Be open to new things. For me to say this to you, I don't know if it was possible about 3 months ago for me to talk to you like this, or be not even open minded. I didn't know the reality of it.
Mm.
Right? I didn't know the
Right.
reality. I'm sure I didn't, because I was not a participant in it. I always saw it from a distance. And you lived in that in another way, but you said, hey, and you would tell me certain things and share the information that you knew, which I had no idea of. And I'm like, oh wow, wow. For you to say to me, hey, we've reached everywhere on this globe except for that place. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
What? So that's an eye opener, man. I mean, you're talking again to a person, a writer, who, if I sold 20 of my books, and that took me years, like 3 years to do that many copies of that. And believe me, there are writers who've sold 2 only, 4,
Yeah.
right? Maybe 20 is some kind of success, but 20 books and with one freaking 2-minute self-recorded book capsule, I reached 55 in 4 hours.
Mm.
Right? Right? It's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Anyway, I made my point.
Yeah. No, I think the one thing that I like about it as well, you saw it. He's really fucking
I would
mean.
love to fight. Dude, I would love. No, it's not that bad. Come on. If we go to Romania, shit, that would be a fucking fun place to go and do some filming, dude.
Oh yeah.
It's fucking awesome. That's like beautiful. Dude, I would love to do that shit. I would love. Amy's
These
finally
final
in the internet. That's right. Yeah.
Barbers.
Well, I'm of a different era, right?
Mm.
Bubbles. I mean, I'm a different generation? Well, how many generations? 2? What is it? Every 15 years is a generation? Am I right in that?
I don't
20?
know. Me and Bubbles actually were just talking about this the other day. Like the definition of what a generation is changing so rapidly. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
just with the way that the world's going, like yeah, maybe or from like we're talking about like her brother who's almost 30 is like is 2 generations or a generation away from us. And then when you look at us to kids who are 10 years old in school right now, they're like 5 generations like ahead of us, like me. Like it's crazy. Like the definition of generations is just changing so rapidly because stuff's going out so much. Are you silent gen?
What
Dude,
are you
he's not
silent?
the silent generation, dude.
Who? What is she asking me? The
Yeah,
silent generation?
yeah.
You mean like silent film generation?
I think silent generation is like your mother.
Oh, gotcha. Yes. What is Pablo? I'm also done for a little. What does that mean? Done like
I
he's
done
taking
bullying.
off?
Done bullying you, maybe.
Oh, I'm not worried about it. You're making a thing about it. I don't give a shit. It doesn't bother. You shouldn't even bring light to it. It's like, who gives a fuck? Keep on going.
Before the baby boom is silent generation. Yeah, Baze isn't before the baby boom, Bubbles.
That would make me what, 90? No, not. Wait, shit. I'd be like 102. I'd be 102. And still looking like this. God damn, genetics, dude.
Look good.
Genetics.
Look good.
Genetics, dude.
Yeah. But what I was saying was I like the idea of, I think that what is really important for us as Poet Warriors moving forwards right now, and us as a growing platform, is what we've talked about, is going to festivals, physically getting our shit out there and seen by these creditors, these critics, whatever, right?
That's one way to do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
and
that
I
takes
think
a lot of work too.
What I'm saying is, I like that avenue because I think we need to do that, right? With where we are right now, that's where we need to go. And I like the avenue of going to film festivals, because if we did a film, as opposed to, you know, for example, like say we went to Edinburgh this year, right? Which I absolutely want to go to Edinburgh. We're going to go to Edinburgh at some point, right? Say we went to Edinburgh this year, it's going to take 15 to 20 grand to do it, right? To get like the people there, to get food, to get a place, to get rental space, right? Like minimum. It's going to take like 15 to 20 grand to do it or whatever.
Can I interrupt?
Hmm.
Pablo, if you send us 15 to 20 grand right now, I forgive all your transgressions, and I will then start acknowledging your chats.
There
and
you
I
go.
will start acknowledging them. Only if you send us right now 15 to 20 grand.
There
Then
you
we're
go.
start. Hey, Pablo, you and I start on a clean slate. Then I will acknowledge your chats. But if not, Pablo, you're dead to me. Keep on going.
There you go. Which obviously, you know, is, I mean, it's
Pablo,
not,
you're dead to me. I'm kidding. I'm a joke,
it's
Pablo.
not undoable, but obviously is very difficult to do as like a growing business at the moment with where we are. If we pursue film and we pursue these short film ideas that we have, you know, we can send that out to 3 or 4 minimum different film festivals a year for almost free, right? Like, I'm sure there's some kind of payment to enter or whatever,
Yeah.
but we don't have to be there.
No, you don't. What I'm
Right.
trying to say is, there's a thing called YouTube. There's a thing called our website.
Mm.
There's a thing called, and I think that's it, where we have control over our own distribution of our intellectual property. I don't need the gatekeeper of the San fucking Carlos Film Festival or the Berlin Sure, everyone's going to run those routes, but if we are really going to be our own gatekeeper and trendsetter, if we do a model like this and it happens to work out and it happens to catch on, and then all of a sudden people like advertisers come to us because of X number and X sales on our own website that we control. Look, the only people out there on level, we call them entrepreneurs. Well, we're going to be entrepreneurs of our own art,
Yeah.
of our artistry, of our intellectual property is what I'm trying to urge here. Because of, I got rid of my walking cane, dude. I got rid of my walking cane, right? And I have another third leg in which I could stand on now, thanks to your urging. It works. It works once again. I've seen the light. The light is on me, dude. I've seen the light.
I like that.
And with that being said, buddy, right? Come on now. Come on. Come on.
I feel like we need Sergio. I feel like you're not serious enough to this enterprise.
Pablo, where's the, did you get a payment for 15?
Pablo is
yet?
like 13, 14. If I had 15, 20 grand at 13, 14 years old, I wouldn't give it to you either.
Dude, I'm talking to a 13-year-old. Does that even count?
I don't know. He's the one dissing you.
Yeah, no kidding. And he's 13.
No, I mean, I know. I mean, we both have, you know, we both know what we want to do, and we both want to redefine this shit as well. But I mean, you know, it needs to go in tandem. We can't just do the one. We need to get our work out there to help publicize, even if it goes nowhere. You know, like, it needs to go to both avenues. It needs to go everywhere. And I mean, if we can do it for like free, you know, that's my point. Like, it's one thing to film something, and then also, you know, like, it would be one thing if I was like, you know, like, yeah, Edinburgh or whatever, you know, and we had to spend 15, 20 grand to pursue that avenue as well as doing what we're talking about. But with film festivals, no, we just send it off, and whilst we're doing what our focus is on this, we just throw it out. If something happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Our focus is here. You know what I mean? Like, it's it goes both ways. It goes both ways.
I think a redefinition of focus is what's necessary in any kind of successful venture. And when I say successful venture, I'm talking about you and I putting our energies in the most efficient, most powerful way, right? Look, because do you know what a funnel is?
No, what's a funnel?
A funnel is a cylindrical thing that goes like it's round like this, and it goes down to a point, and it goes like this. So we're here, right? Hey, G, stop looking at your screen. We're here,
screens.
right? I want to get to this part of the funnel.
Right.
Right? Not here. I want to get to that. And buddy, I think you and I are getting close. We're getting warm.
Yeah, we are.
Oh, if Pablo says if you guys were talking about me, I was eating. Okay. Thanks, Pablo. Thanks for sharing.
Don't be mean to Pablo.
I'm not being mean. I said thanks for sharing. What? Now look at you. You're like a mom. You're like a mom today. Pablo, don't be mean to Baze. Baze, don't be mean to Pablo. Can't be mean. I tell you what, buddy. I have places to go. See.
I have no idea what you just said.
I have places to go, bitches to see. Wrap this shit up.
You guys heard it here. He's got places to be, bitches to see. He doesn't care about you guys. So everyone say bye to Baze.
Wait, hold on. Yeah, I don't care about you. We've just been doing this for 2.5 hours. Wait, hold on, wrong. 2 hours and 45 minutes. I stand corrected. Ready? Get ready to do this.
What kind of superhero doesn't care about his citizens?
Yeah, my constituents. My constituents. Yeah. I'm Batman. Did you? That would have been perfect. Please tell me that you did. Take 2. Did you?
No, because who the fuck told you I'm an alien?
Tasty.